It's all over YouTube. It's where you try to cancel something that you disagree with. Now, I'll tell you a bit of history. Okay, Satan, we read in Ezekiel 28, was the finest of the angels. He was the guardian angel. But he was proud because he was beautiful. We read that his garments were made of fine jewels. And he was the signet of perfection. God's signet ring of perfection was on him. But with things that are proud and beautiful, you big yourself up. Satan tried to make himself into God, even though he was a created being like us. He couldn't attack God personally, so he was thrown out of heaven. So God created man in his own image. You were created in God's image. Each one of you. There is the image of God in you. Genesis 1 verse 27. Ever since Satan, because he's full of hate, isn't he? He's a father of hatred, really, has hated mankind. He can't do God, can't attack God, doesn't have that power. So he attacks the next closest thing to the image of God that he can do, us. We are the image of God. Satan is trying to cancel us. Since then, Satan has used many different techniques, strategies, war plans, this, that and the other sin to cancel humanity. Adam and Eve were created in perfection. A little lie is what it did. What's caused the whole fall. Believing a little lie, a little thing apart from God's truth. Did God really say, oh no, I have this better understanding of the truth? God doesn't know, he's over there somewhere. So Eve ate. She gave some to her husband and he ate. Humanity fell. The image was broken and marred. Thank goodness for the cross, where it's remade, isn't it? But ever since, there's been war between Satan and us. We look at our passage today. Now, I don't know about you, but I think our culture today could do with a few Jeremiahs speaking the truth. Speaking, this is right, that is wrong, do not go down that path, or else you will go to hell. And that message isn't very often preached at the pulpit, sadly. Jeremiah's message was one that was unpopular. There had been a succession of bad kings. They'd built altars to foreign gods. They'd set up this, that and the other. There were displays in their supermarkets that some of us would disagree with. Jeremiah was born into a very difficult time. This man, Pashur, was supposed to be the guardian of the temple. He was the warden of the temple. And imagine if, forgive me Philip, if Philip came up and beat the vicar up because he didn't like the message. That is exactly what Pashur did. Pashur didn't like the message. The kings didn't like the message because it's all, jam today, jam tomorrow, jam to the next day. We have this plan. We heard politicians, oh, it's good, all good. Believe in me, I've got the answers. That's what their time was like. God said, no, your time is up as a nation. You will go into exile. That lovely verse that we have in the doorway, Jeremiah 29:11, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for harm, to give you a future and a hope, is when you have gone into exile. A passage that's conditional before that is, seek the welfare of where I've placed you. You will go into Babylon, people of Israel. They didn't like that message. Let's beat up the prophet of God. Elsewhere he's imprisoned. Have vicars been beaten up? Have vicars, I'm talking about the worldwide church, are Christians being stoned because their message is too radical? He was politically incorrect. Yet, God had put this message in his mouth. God, one of my favourite passages. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. You can apply that to yourselves. Before you were born, I sanctified you. You are here today because God has placed sanctification in your heart. I ordained you as a prophet. You are ordained with the blood of Christ. You have a message that is valuable to this day and age. Now, Pashur, the man of God, supposedly, the one with the fine gowns, the one with the fancy hat, the one who had the political power, throws him in prison, puts him in the stocks, and it was worse than throwing sponges at him, beat him. This is the man of God beaten by a person not of God. What is Jeremiah's response? 20 verse 9. If I say I will not mention his word or speak any more of God, his name, his word is like a fire in my heart, a fire shut up in my bones. I'm weary of holding this message in. Indeed, I cannot. Do you ever feel sometimes that the message of Christ is so powerful, it's burning inside you and it has to be spread? I do. I will not be silenced by you, Pashur. I will not be cancelled. I will never stop speaking and doing the will of God. So what about us today? Are you in a place where something is trying to cancel you? And it's not always Pashur, is it? Not always somebody who's got great power beating you up. Satan is more subtle than that. He's had thousands of years to develop human psychological traits. Thousands of years to go, oh, I know you. I know how to turn you aside. How are you? How am I facing opposition and things that are trying to cancel us, to get us to look away from God? As Eve, oh, just one bite. Oh, there, go on then. God doesn't know. He's not looking. Your husband doesn't know. He's over there. How about us? Don't go to church that weekend. You've got to wash your car. Don't vote for the political party who will serve God. Vote for the one that you know. Whatever. There are millions of reasons why God will try to cancel goodness. Satan will try to cancel goodness somewhere. So take this message home with you. The ultimate adversary, the ultimate canceller is Satan. His name means adversary. His name means accuser. Say this to yourself. I know that God has plans for me. Plans for welfare and not for harm. But so does Satan. I'm not going to be put aside by his plan. His plan is for me to go and die somewhere in a field. Well, sadly, we see that a lot of that happening to Christians around the world. Good people. Will I turn aside from the path that God has set for me? Will I be cancelled? Or will I stand and say, God is my God, I will not betray him? Will I say, no, not on my watch. As for me and my house, Joshua 1:9, Joshua anyway. No, not on my watch. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Will we serve the Lord in continuing glory? Remember, the victor who overcomes belongs a crown in heaven, the reward of God. Remember what happened, the basic curse that Jeremiah spoke to Pashur. You will be terror on every side. Those who deliberately obstruct the work of God will be terror on every side. They will go into exile. They will not come out of exile. So keep on fighting. Keep on serving the Lord. Keep on, my brothers and sisters, in the Lord. So closing prayer. His word shall not fail you. He promised. Believe him and all will be well. Then go to a world that is dying, his perfect salvation to tell. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face. And the things on earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. Amen.